Members, the Lanterman Act is widely referred to as the Bill of Rights for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities. It is through the Lanterman Act that California makes and keeps its promise to Californians with disabilities. Direct support professionals are the workers who help fulfill this promise by spending their career going to work, assisting, coaching, mentoring, encouraging, advocating for our citizens with developmental disabilities. I rise today to recognize and to honor them. Whether assisting people to live as independently as possible, to succeed at work, or to provide respite and support for families, these people have dedicated themselves to a life of service to others. Today, 14 months after our state's lockdown started due to COVID-19, it is clearer than ever that the term professional fits these individuals. As the lives of the people they serve have been disrupted, we have countless examples of how direct support professionals have innovated, adapted, and made heroic personal sacrifices to ease the difficulties faced by people they serve. Many have become sick over the past year. Many have isolated away from their own families, friends, in order to be there and make life more bearable for the people they serve. I, quite frankly, am in awe of their dedication and their professionalism. And I would be remiss if I failed to mention that this workforce remains woefully unappreciated. How can we value these hero workers with minimum wage pay? So let us resolve to honor our direct service professional heroes, not only with this resolution, but also with our own resolve to work for a rate of pay commensurate with their level of dedication and professionalism. Members, I ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Mr. Lackey, you are recognized on the resolution.
Yeah, thank you, colleagues. I stand in proud support of ACR 41 to honor direct support professionals who have supported individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities during COVID-19. The developmentally disabled community has been disproportionately affected during this pandemic, and as a longtime advocate of this community, I know the importance of the work done by these dedicated professionals who often go without thank you. I'd like to thank my colleague from Pasadena for introducing this resolution to honor the heroic work of those who help provide service to those who are so often underserved. And I would just like to close by saying it's been pathetic, the level of support that this body has shown to this part of our population. We've done a little bit better last year, and I hope that we have all these surpluses supposedly. It's time to invest in those who have been forgotten. These are the last group of folks that have had their budgets restored. And it's regrettable, because I dare anybody in here to find a more deserved part of our population than these people. So I would ask for your improved support in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lackey. Mr. Frazier, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I really want to thank our colleague from Pasadena for bringing this resolution forward about this worthy workforce that gets so little acknowledgement in their efforts to uphold and sustain a population of people of dire need. A lot of the times that we've had our opportunities to uphold and support this population, throughout the 30 years that I've been tracking it lately, it's been a roller coaster of cuts. But you never see the restoration of the cuts. We've relegated this workforce into a minimum wage workforce, essentially, and saying that that's all you get. That's not fair. These are people that are working with the medically fragile, the behavioral issues. They get kicked, punched, bitten, spit on, and they deserve better. This workforce deserves an amazing amount of support for this population. I want to commend not only the author of this, but also our Speaker Pro Tem, who's also partnered with me on this effort, and our chair of Sub 1. understanding that when we went through this crisis of the pandemic, and as stated, these individuals had to man these group homes, had to man the population for support at risk for their own lives. And many did get sick. And many group homes failed. Now, I've been talking to the directors of the regional centers, and they're in absolute fear that if we don't do something now in this budget cycle, that the workforce is going to diminish even more rapidly. Thank you again, my colleague from Pasadena, for holding the torch today and acknowledging that this workforce is to be honored. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Frazier. Dr. Wood, you too are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to my colleague from Pasadena. I too stand to support ACR 41. COVID-19 has affected every one of us in some way, and in some more than others. The most vulnerable people among us are people with developmental and intellectual disabilities, and we are here to recognize the dedicated, direct support professionals who have continued to provide support services to them during this public health crisis. This pandemic had a disproportionate impact on people in our IDD community, and these professionals took extraordinary measures to learn how to be safe and taught their clients and families to be safe as possible during the pandemic. Their skills, compassion, and care made a significant difference in the quality of life for the people they serve. One of the many centers that do this important work in my district is the Ukiah Valley Association for Rehabilitation. Their mission is to help people with disabilities meet their full potential as individuals and productive citizens in our communities. They employ more than 30 people who have been directly supporting their clients throughout the pandemic by Zooming, working in people's homes, supporting them to work and being a part of their community. For the many direct professionals in California who support the IDD community, I support ACR 41. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wood. And Dr. Arambula, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I am so pleased to join my colleague from Pasadena and a number of other colleagues in standing up for our developmentally disabled community. It's important that we recognize the hard work that the direct support professionals are doing day in and day out. And while it's an easy vote for us today to vote for this resolution, it's the hard vote to make sure that we provide the resources necessary to uplift these direct support professionals who take care of our IDD population. I look forward to the next few weeks where those of us on the floor have a chance to rectify the issue with pay for those who are on the front lines right now. I look forward to all of us who are able to support this resolution today, who will also stand to make sure that the words of Lanterman Act are not just words on paper, but that we as a state are able to uplift our IDD populations and take care of them with the dignity and respect that they deserve. I humbly ask for support on ACR 41.
Thank you, Dr. Arambula. Seeing no other members seeking recognition, Mr. Holden, you may close if you wish.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank all of my colleagues who have risen today to add support to this important resolution. You've all been champions on dealing with this issue and very consistent over an extended period of time. And as our sub-budget committee chair has pointed out, who has been a real champion, and I want to acknowledge that as well as my friend from Mr. Frazier, whatever your district is, your support. It doesn't matter, right? Okay. Protocol aside, my apologies. Has had his finger on the pulse of the importance of this issue and has been, steadfast in making sure that that all of us have been attuned to what is the ebb and flows of the financial issues surrounding this area. And so we thank you for your diligence in that regard. And let me just say that, this is when you have someone in your family that is dealing with developmental disabilities, it makes it even more profound and it's very closer to home. And I do appreciate every member who at one time or another has reached in and understood and dug a little deeper to better appreciate the people who provide the services to this community. Because it is a very tough job that they have, but I will tell you that they take great pride in it. And now it's time to uplift their pay to meet their expertise and their dedication. And as I just noted to myself here, ACR 41 is my district number. I don't know what that actually means, but it sounds like a good thing. So I ask for your support of ACR 41, and I ask the first roll to be open for co-authors. It's a good sign.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. The first roll will be open for co-authors. Clerk will open the roll. Members, this is for co-authors adding on ACR 41. For co-authors on the resolution. This is for co-authors. Clerk will close the roll. There are 69 co-authors added, and without objection, we may take a voice vote on the resolution. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. The ayes have it. The resolution is adopted.